Okay, we are live. Hello everyone, welcome back to another Friday Lunchtime Live. I'm joined with Andy today and we're going to be talking you through how we created our podcast clothing collection, which you may have seen on our YouTube over the last couple of days. We've released a two-part series of how to create a clothing collection. One of the main reasons being is that we've had a lot of people ask us recently how they would get started in the garment decorating business, how they would start a t-shirt business if they wanted to, and just everything about how to start from scratch really. So we decided to put ourselves in your shoes and go from the very beginning, from design ideas all the way through to the finished product. And what better way to do that than to do it with our podcast collection, which needed a bit of a revamp. I actually have one of the old, for those of you that have been watching the podcast for a while, these were the tees that we originally created using just basic screen print transfers. I mean, to be fair, they've lasted very well, but they were just a little bit boring for us. You know, we work with ultra colour every day. We know what for. We did, and I've just realised that people probably can't hear us very well. No, let's just adjust settings. Bear with everybody, apologies. I plugged in. We'll start that from the video. Can you just do the, that's it. Okay, they're on. Okay, can everybody, there we go. We have audio, sorry about that. I was too excited to get started with the video, there you go. Okay, let's take it back to the beginning then for everybody who has just joined us. So basically what I was saying is that today's video is all about how to start a clothing business. We've had quite a lot of people in our DMs recently asking us how you start a clothing business, how they get started with garment decorating, how it works, everything involved. So we decided to put ourselves into your shoes and create a collection for our podcast, which if you've been following the podcast for a while, you know that when we started, we just had these basic black and white tees, which they did the job, they looked okay. But we knew we could do better. So we decided to create a collection from scratch for the podcast and to also give all of you a look into how the process works. So that's what we're going to talk about today. So if anyone has any questions as we go, feel free to just drop them in the comments and then we'll answer them all at the end. So we're going to be taking you through the entire process from the inspiration, how you get started, the design ideas, all the way through to testing the products and creating your prototypes and samples. And then we've got some finished products that we're going to be applying as well on the Fusion IQ heat press. So stay tuned to the end if you want to see that. And then Andy's also going to take you through how to order things on EasyView. So the entire process of how to get started. I just want to do a little plug before we get going for the two-part video series that is on our YouTube channel. That went out on Monday and this morning. So there's part 1 and part 2 for how to start a clothing business. So I'd recommend going to watch that for the
give a bit more about behind the scenes look at how you approached it.
Yes.
A little bit more behind the scenes of the target transfers, office and building as well that way too.
Yeah, there's good behind the scenes in there. So go and check that one out. And it's also a bit sped up as well. So obviously we're live, we're rambling, but that one is nicely edited and put together. So you can skip through that to get to the bits you need to. And it shows the whole process. So getting started. So the first thing I wanted to talk about is why you're creating your clothing collection, your brand, your t-shirt business. Is it just to make extra profit? If it is, that's completely fine. A lot of people, that's the main reason they start business, because they want an extra income. It could be to pursue a particular passion that you've got, or you might have a particular design idea that you want to bring to life. So there's a whole bunch of reasons that you could be creating this clothing brand, but think about why, because I think that has a big impact on what your designs end up looking like and how you go about creating them, would you say?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's all about finding your voice as a clothing brand.
Exactly. So obviously the main inspiration for ours was the fact that we have a heat printing podcast. If you haven't already seen it, Target Transfers podcast on our YouTube channel. And we basically wanted to create something that was a bit more eye-catching. So these are some of the design boards that I put together with that one's upside down, with our designer, which we will show you in a bit more depth later on in the video. So we brought all of the different ideas together from sort of what colours we wanted. So our podcast set obviously has some yellows in it. There's some blues and some pinks. So we sort of tied all of the colours together to come up with the designs, as well as using the inspiration from other clothing brands, which I think is perfectly fine to do. If you see something you like and you want to sort of replicate it, as long as you're not ripping off the design, nothing wrong with that. So our inspiration was the Maverick clothing line, for those of you that haven't seen it. When I sat down with Kate, one of our graphic designers in our studio team, we really liked the way that they'd gone about creating more of a modern edgy effect, but they'd still got all of the details and the original sort of slogans and things for what their brand meant. So something that we did on one of these finished garments here is, on the front we have our TTP, which is obviously Target Transfers podcast, but then on the back we've gone for a big mic print, if you can see that in the camera, and then we've also got our saying on there, Target Transfers podcast, #1 heat printing podcast worldwide, blah 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 blah. So we've got a little bit more information on there about the podcast, but it still looks good. It's still quite an effective piece of clothing. So that's something that we really wanted to make sure that we had in the collection when we were starting to design it. And I'd also recommend that at this stage in the process, you sit down and draw out your design ideas, pull together inspiration images, just start to put together the look and feel of your brand and really know where you're heading before you get started. Then a good thing to consider at this point would be to look at the garments that you want. Now, obviously, if you're just printing onto black and white t-shirts, you could do this later on in the process once you've done your designs. But because we knew we wanted a specific colour and a specific design to go onto like a vanilla-y, more neutral shade, we wanted to make sure we had the right garment colour so that we could test on it before we printed the final one. So if you are starting out, that's something to keep in mind. If you are looking for more of a specific coloured garment, or you're doing something that you want to be a longer running product, if it's limited edition, it's not the end of the world if it gets discontinued a few weeks after you release it. But if you want it to be something that you keep producing for customers, then you're obviously going to want to make sure that you can get hold of that stock and that it's going to be there consistently and that you'll be able to provide those products for your customers.
It was a good chance for us to have a conversation with Rallowise as well and some of the blanks companies about what it's like to be trending next year. Because also we knew that we started this process 3 months ago with a view of having this live event and this video series coming out. But we wanted to make sure anything we do is not going to be out of date by the time we actually talk to you guys about it. So that's why we wanted to make sure that we contact our partners, which you all have access to as well, to be like, okay, what's going to be big for next year now? And we were speaking to Rallowise only yesterday again, and they're like, yeah, those beiges and vanillas are still going to be very big for next year. So it means that you can really plan ahead and understand what the market would like from you as well.
Definitely, yeah. So make sure to go online to rallowise.com if you're looking for blank garments. They have hundreds and hundreds of pieces on there. But if you are new at getting started, don't be overwhelmed, because as they featured on an episode of our podcast yesterday, they're very easy to get hold of and they're happy to help. So if you know you're looking for something in particular, then just reach out and talk to them because they'd be more than happy to, help you out with that. So moving on then to the transfer side of things. So once we knew what products we were printing onto and once we knew what our designs were, I'm actually just going to show everyone a little bit closer so these are our design boards that we did. So I just pulled a couple of inspiration pictures and then I mocked up in like Canva and Photoshop some of the ideas I wanted. So you can see you've got the back print here and then what we wanted it to look like on ours, and we rewrote the words. Same with this one. So this was actually the main idea behind it. So you can see our inspiration pictures here. Then we sort of roughly mocked up what we wanted it to look like. We've got a few different design ideas here and the colorings as well. So I'd always recommend to sort of get to grips with get the idea down on paper so you
Yeah.
can visualize it. This really helped us when it came to doing the samples as well, because we could compare and we could look back, especially if you're doing more than one garment. We've got 3 or 4 different sweatshirts, a whole bunch of t-shirts, and every design was different. Every sleeve print had a different, whether it was this has got established on it, the other one had podcast. There were so many designs flying around. So it really helped to have these 2 just reference to really when we were doing the samples. So next we then put together all of the final designs, but before we did the big order, we decided to do a test order with Ultracolor Max, which I do actually have a demo roll of down here. So Ultracolor Max transfers are minimum order of 1. So these are a great transfer product, if I can get the sticker off. These are a great transfer product if you are testing out on your garments, because you can order full color designs and you only need to order 1 sheet. The sheet is very big, as you can see. It's 55 by 55 centimeters, and you can put as many designs as you want onto this sheet, and it's just £29 every single time. So we ordered, I'd show you our sheet, but we chopped it up and used it, and I didn't order another one.
You can see it on the video series that you've done, though.
Good point. We can. I forget that we've done those. So yeah, we'd always recommend chucking on, if you can fit all of your designs on, test all of them. If you can't, just test the ones that you're a bit unsure about, whether it's sizing, color, detail, that kind of thing. So yeah, this is what we did to sample them.
And I mean, I'm kind of skipping to the end a little bit here, but Molly's going to, the finished product is going to have a few different transfer finishes on it. But even if you're just doing single color stuff, even though it's an Ultracolor product, it's a full color transfer, it's a nice, cheap and easy way of getting a single color, look at single color stuff, what it will actually look like on the garment as well. So the designs on which you can watch on that video have got some block color stuff as well as some gradient based designs too.
Yeah, I think I have 2 actually that I'm going to fuse in a moment, one of which is full colour and one of which is just plain black. So yeah, you can test out all of your different designs that way, which is great. And then once we were 100% happy with those, we then ordered our main screen print and Ultracolor heat transfers. So these come as a minimum order of 10 sheets. So the reason being behind waiting to order those is because if we ordered them and we were slightly unsure about a print, or we were unsure about a certain design or detail, like I've just said, if we order a minimum of 10, you're kind of stuck with those sheets because you've ordered, we print exactly what you order. So if that's the design you want, that's the design we print. And if it's not quite right and you're not quite happy with it, you've paid out for 10 or maybe even 50 or 100 sheets of transfers that you might not be 100% happy with in terms of the design. So that's why we do the max samples first, which we would always recommend you do if you're unsure. And then we went ahead and ordered, like I said, our Ultra and screens. So these were a much more cost-effective way for us to create that entire collection, which is something to be aware of when you are first starting out, because obviously you can spend all the money in the world but not actually achieve anything and not get anywhere. So we try and do things in the most cost-effective way for you. So the reason that we used both of these transfer products is because we had 2 different design types. So screen printed heat transfers are, I think I have one here, sorry, I'm just going to grab this one. So screen printed heat transfers are designs with between 1 and 5 colors in them. So as you can see here, we've just got the plain white and the yellow. So this was a 2-color print, and we ordered these with screen. And then for Ultracolor, they're 4 designs with unlimited colors. So anything from, I mean, it says 1 to 5, but really anything from 3, we recommend going to Ultra from a price point of view. And that's where you get all of the gradient colors in there. So we had to order both from a cost effectiveness point of view, and also quality as well. Best heat transfers in the world. I know we're biased, but
well, actually, on that point, we've got a quick question from the North Yorkshire Soccer Academy. Hi guys, already have a heat press, but we buy and transfer logos from different companies. What equipment we need to print our own? And this is a good question. And the honest answer is there isn't any equipment you can buy in to replicate these transfers. So for those that are kind of new to us, we are part of the Styles Group. So as an international group, we are the largest group of heat transfer manufacturers and heat press manufacturers worldwide. But as part of that, and the reason we are the world's leading is because we put a lot of investment and R&D into building our own bespoke systems. So everything you see today is available for everyone to order. You get that back to you in 2 days. So you can have single color, which are Pantone match, or you can have the Ultracolor, or a direct-to-film product, which are all full-color, gradient-based transfers, no limits. But these have all have bespoke systems in this. So we use special powders and inks and carrier paper. So these will last longer than anything else. This is not something you could just buy in, I'm afraid, because you'd need a giant manufacturing facility to actually be able to produce the products. But if you would like to know more about how you can get your transfers from us, we're going to cover absolutely everything today. And I want to say to you, it's a kind of a short order is only sort of £29 to get started. So if you want to test for yourself before you get going, it's really easy to find out what the styles and target transfers differences when it comes to heat transfers.
Yeah, and I think it's worth noting as well from a cost-effective point of view, there isn't really a point in producing your own. Like, it's so cost effective to get these, and we have a team, an entire team in the production house working day and night to make these the best transfers for you guys. Why not just use that service? You know, it seems silly to try and print your own. So yeah, this is an example of one of the A3 sheets that I was talking about for our ultra color heat transfers. So as you can see, we've got multiple designs on here. I actually haven't counted. So we've got loads of sleeve prints here. We've got the big print for the front. These were for the back. So was this one. We've got the teeny detail of the mic on here as well. So really, really detailed designs. And yeah, while we're talking about gang sheets, I'll just mention that we don't charge anything extra to create gang sheets. You can have as many designs as you can physically fit on this sheet, and we will print it for you. You pay for the A3 sheet, so you may as well fill it with as much as you can. Just keep in mind that you have to cut them out, so leave enough of a gap so you can actually get scissors in between. I've made that mistake many times, and it's not fun trying to cut out really, really tiny detailed designs. So we left enough of a gap between each of these designs, as you can see. So yeah, this is an example of an ultra color, and then I also have one of our screen prints here. So, that's slightly lighting a bit off on the camera. There we go. So you can see there's a bit of yellow effect in there as well. So these are the two different types of transfers that we supply, obviously, as well as the Ultra Color Max.
So while Molly's getting that set up, just a follow-up question is, do you have transfers suitable for coated nylon raincoats who have trouble peeling off after a couple of weeks? The short answer is yes, we do. If you have any material, so if you're thinking about starting your clothing brand, and it might be you're putting it onto raincoats, or something a bit different, you're trying to kind of disrupt things, and you want to put it onto some soft shell or something that with some big bold designs you don't normally see very often. We can always create a solution for everyone. There's some products like for raincoats that we can do offline because it's a bit more of bespoke built transfer. We just want to make sure that we're always giving the best advice to people. So if you do have questions about that, just drop us an email to info@targettransfers.com or call into our customer service team on 01376 326 351, and within like 30 seconds you'll be speaking to someone.
That's impressive. I don't know that number off by heart.
You'll be speaking to someone, and we can go into more in-depth technical detail about the products you're using, because we've created transfer systems. We've been manufacturing heat transfers here in Braintree for over 40 years. So there's not many things we haven't tried to apply heat transfer to. So if you're ever unsure, just get in touch or leave us a message on one of our socials, and we'll be able to find a solution for you.
Yeah, definitely. The one thing I do just want to quickly mention before we move on to the fusing as well is the pricing of sheets. So obviously I mentioned that it's a more cost-effective way to order your heat transfers by doing the A3 gang sheets for screen and ultra color. So just as an example, if you're ordering 25 A3 sheets of our ultra color heat transfers, it's just £4.47 per sheet. And then obviously you can divide that by the amount of transfers that are actually on your gang sheet. So if you've got 10 on there, you divide that by 10, and that's how much each transfer is costing you. So it really does bring the price down. And then just as an example, if you were to order 100 sheets, the price drops dramatically to £2.87 per sheet. And then again, dividing by however many designs you've got on that sheet. So there really is a significant saving to be had when you are ordering more heat transfers, which we've tried to make it easy for our customers to do, cost effective, and just making sure that you can make as much profit on your garments as you can, really. So yeah, to recap, Ultra Color Max is our minimum order of one full color sampling / personalization product, and then we'll move on to screen print and main ultra color when you're ready to level up and order more transfers.
Yeah, it's much more scalable to use the ultra color
Yeah.
main product, because the price will come down really quickly on your average transfer price that way.
Cool. Right, I'm just going to adjust the camera to the press so that we can do some fusing. We're going to be using the Fusion IQ heat press today because that is the heat press that I use to apply some of these garments. So Andy, I don't know if you want to switch seats because you're going to be out of the shot in this.
Yep.
There we go. Okay, so we currently have the Fusion IQ set to 145 degrees Celsius with a pre-press of 5 and a main press of 12 seconds. So to start with, I'm going to give you a demonstration on the Ultracolor Max product, the sampling. So if you were doing your initial test garments. So I have got a quick slip on here today as well, which is going to make it a lot quicker and easier to apply the transfers. So I've found a t-shirt here. This is a Bella Canvas t-shirt. I think it's actually the 3001. And this is a very similar color to the sweat that we have used as well. So I'm going to apply test product to this. So I'm just going to thread my garment onto the press. Now, the great thing about the Fusion IQ is that it is fully threadable. So if you can see on the video, there's no, all of the garment, the back of the garment, sorry, is underneath the press. So rather than applying it just like that and applying onto both sides, you're able to thread the t-shirt fully onto the platen so that your pressure is accurate and that your transfer will last the lifetime of the garment. So I'm just going to make sure all of the seams are off there. And we're just going to give it a pre-press for 5 seconds. We've got pressure of between 4 and 5, which is perfect. That's medium for Hotronics. Bring that out. And then this is what Andy was talking about earlier in regards to just ordering plain black and white prints for Ultracolor Max. So this is off of our Ultracolor Max gang sheet. As you can see, it's just a plain black and white print. So it doesn't have to be full color. So we're just going to place that onto our t-shirt and cover it with release paper and fuse it for 12 seconds. You don't necessarily need to use release paper with Ultracolor Max because it is a hot peel, but we find that it's better just to get into best practice of using release paper because for screen and ultra, you need it. So go. And then because this is a hot peel, I'm just going to pull this carrier straight off like that. And straight away, we have got a podcast t-shirt. That's how quick and easy it is to add custom designs to garments. And that is a really, really high quality print straight away there. So as you can see, that is super soft, super thin. That's not coming off. That's been fused perfectly. And we can then see that the color, the sizing as well for the t-shirt is perfect. So in this case, we'd be able to order these from screen print in a bulk of 10. So that's the first one I wanted to show you because that's obviously a darker color onto a lighter garment. And then the next one I wanted to cover is this transfer here. Now this is also an Ultracolor Max transfer, but it's a full color blend. As you can see, we've got the yellows through to oranges and then pinks on there. So this was ordered on the exact same gang sheet as the other transfer. So I'm going to take a slightly darker garment. This is also a Bella Canvas one. So this is just plain black 3001 T. And we're going to do the exact same thing. We're just going to thread our t-shirt onto the press. This heat press is definitely one of my favorites because it gives you such a clear, heat-free workspace to work with. It does also swing sideways, but I'm not going to do that because I'll probably hit Andy in the head with the heat press.
Yeah, but for our friends at the North Yorkshire Soccer Academy, this is the top press normally for sports decorating, we find, because of that heat-free workspace. A lot of our friends in the US at the NFL and the NBA tend to prefer this option.
It's just so much easier, isn't it?
Yeah.
Especially when you're working with, like you say, more intricate designs and they have to be perfectly straight. And
also have a quick question as well, Molly, while you're fusing that about the release paper that we're using and if it's okay to use baking parchment paper or a Teflon sheet. And the answer to that is we wouldn't necessarily recommend using baking parchment paper, mainly because we don't know how it's been finished. So we have had a few customers that have found that sometimes there's they can pick up a bit of a shine depending on, especially if you're switching brands of parchment paper. So it's always best to use something like release paper because there's a bit more of a neutral texture to it. And it's only like, it's $11.99 for 50 A3 sheets anyway. So it's really low cost product and they last a very long time. So this means that it just protects the t-shirt from getting shiny, which is one of the main reasons for using it. And with regards to a Teflon sheet is that you only really need to use that if you're using something that's very heat sensitive. So if you've got if it's just onto cotton t-shirts, then it's overkill because you need to, by having a Teflon sheet, because it's thicker and it takes some of the heat out of it, you do need to play around with temperatures and pressure. So unless it's something like a nylon or a polyester, you really don't need it. But if you are using a heat sensitive product, then we would recommend that a Teflon, we call a grip flex pad, over release paper.
Yeah, and like I say, this, like Andy said, the release paper lasts such a long time. I think we've had one of the packs of 50 in here for about a year, and we just rotate the same few pieces around the showroom. So yeah, they're absolutely fine to use more than a handful of times. So this is the finished product of our full color print. As you can see, that looks amazing. The colors on there are really popping on the black t-shirt, and same result as last time, really soft, really thin finish. And again, the main thing for me personally when we were doing these was checking that the sizing all fits okay. So I can see from this one that it's the right size for the t-shirt, and I'm more than happy with that. So that's another reason why it's fantastic to do your sample prints, and why we'd recommend using Ultracolor Max for that. So that is the 2 sample t-shirts I wanted to demo today. I'm just going to change the press temperature because we're going to apply screen printed heat transfers next. So instead of 145 degrees, we need it on 160. So I'm just going to use the Fusion IQ control panel. The great thing about this is that it pre-saves all of your transfer and heat transfer vinyl recipes in the IQ screen panel, in its brain, basically. So I'm just going to click down and select 1 to 5. Where is it? 1 to 5 color screen print transfers. And the press says heating to 160, 2 minutes remaining. So it's really quick, and it means you don't have to remember all of your recipes. It's not so bad with transfers because obviously there's only 3 types, but if you're using heat transfer vinyl, there's a lot of types of heat transfer vinyl, and quite a lot of them have different temperatures, times, peels. So it's just good to have all of that information in here so you don't have to worry.
This also comes preloaded with everything as well, so you don't have to add them in yourself. You get every heat transfer type, every vinyl type already preloaded with the correct time, temperature, and pressure guidance too.
Exactly. Do we have any more questions in the meantime while we're waiting for this to heat up? Okay.
Do you want me to run through EasyView while we're waiting for that one to?
That's a good idea. Let's do that.
Okay. So I'm just going to give you a quick run through of how I'll do an Ultracolor Max option for you, so you can see the sampling tool, and then we'll go through to the actual main product as well. So let me just share my screen with you all. So now you can see, so I'm on the custom.target transfers website. So this is your online virtual assistant for everything you need heat transfer wise. So we've got you covered here. So if you want to order 24 hours a day, no matter what time works for you, you can get started. We know a lot of you that might be thinking about starting a clothing brand will be doing this in your evenings or your weekends. So everything you need is at your fingertips anyway. So no matter what you do. So all you need to do is scroll down here and pick the options that you want. So we're covering every transfer type today, from a 1 to 5 color, which is the Pantone Match product, the Ultracolor product, which is the more scalable option for you. So once you start to get into doing orders of 20, 100, 500, this is where you get the best price point. And you also have the Ultracolor Max, which Molly used as a sample product here. So this is a direct to film heat transfer. And it's something that we have been working on for quite a long time, and we're really pleased with the results we're getting because the wash test on this was fantastic, and you can get incredible detail with it. So all you need to do is click Add Ultracolor Design on the product. You go to your uploads where you've got all of your preloaded designs, or you can upload new ones. It always stores everything you have in your design library. So in this instance, because Molly had quite a large gang sheet of transfers. This is where your loaded transfer sheet, where you've got loads and loads of transfers on here. She pre-did her transfer sheet in Illustrator already because she wanted to really zoom in and play around with different size types. So it's already preloaded as a giant transfer sheet, but you can do it either as one load that you create in Illustrator or Photoshop, or you can do individual bit. We really don't mind. Because we're not going to charge you anything extra for the product, it's entirely up to you. So that's all you need to do is a couple of clicks, and just like that, you've loaded up your heat transfer sheet onto here. And this has got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 23 transfers on here for £29. So when we talk about a really cost-effective way to sample your work, this is really, really easy, because you've got the single color stuff on there, you've got the gradients on there, you've got that fine detail. So it means that no matter which product you then go on to, ultimately, it's really easy to actually scale that product that way. So just like that, couple of clicks, and then when you're happy, put as many as you want. And you might want a couple of different options here. You might go through a few different gang sheet sample options for yourself. That's no problem. All you need to do is click buy. And then a couple of days later, once you've checked out, they'll all be there waiting for you. So really, really nice and simple. So it's accessible for absolutely anyone. So if you're a beginner and you're new to the industry, or if you're an existing decorator and you would like an easier way to function your business, this is how you do it. It's just a couple of clicks. That means absolutely anyone in your business, you can give them the artwork and say, order me X amount that I need. And just like that, we've got you covered. So that's how it is to order a sample sheet. But what you really want to know is, okay, I'm happy with my designs. Now I really want to make some really great profit margins. So let me show you exactly how to do that. So I'm going to take you back to the home page. We'll run through this from the beginning again. So no matter which product you're using now, if it's the 1 to 5 color or if it's the ultra color, it's really, really simple. You just pick the one that you want. So let's go with an ultra color option here. At this point, you're greeted with 8 different layout types. So if you would like us to pre-cut all the designs for you, so you don't want to do a gang sheet, you haven't got time for it, that's absolutely fine too. We kind of try and make the options easy for anyone, so that no matter what your process is within your printing house, you can do what you want. We always recommend, especially if you're just starting out, to go with a gang sheet option because of that price saving option. So I'm just going to walk you through that now. So again, just click add design, add ultra color heat to design here. I'm just going to go into my library and I'm going to find the A3 version here. So there's a different size because it's a slightly different printing technology, and that's how we make the ultra color really scalable versus the direct to film option. So that's how you can get even better price points. So I've already done my A3 sheet here. I will walk you through how to build your own one in just a sec as well. So let's select that one, upload it, and this can be EPS, PNG, JPEG, PDF, whatever works for you, depending on where you're designing. It's not specific to Adobe or CorelDRAW. We kind of let you do whatever you need to do in that respect. So all I've had to do is quickly upload my design here. And again, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 designs. So even on the absolute minimum order of 10 for these, I've still managed to get 15 designs. So $5.97 per sheet, and I've got 15 designs on here.
And some of those are quite big as well, actually.
Some of them are quite big. You've got some small ones. You've got lots of different options. You can include some neck labels on here as well. So it's probably possible to get even another 5 designs on here if you put an extra few neck labels on as well. But what you really want to know is, how do I know how can I affordably scale my products? When you're first starting out, everything is, I mean, even as you're growing, there's profit margins to everything. So all you need to do is just go into the quantity area here, just change the number. So start off with 10. Let's see what happens when we go to 20. 25, sorry. Go to 25. It's come down to 4.47 already. So just by ordering another 15 sheets, it's already come down by £1.50. So that's how quickly you can start to get to some of these price breaks. Now we change that and did 50 now. Now it's £4.16. So that's £1.81 per sheet that you've saved already just by going up to 50. But if you're starting a clothing brand and start to get successful, really you're kind of looking to close to like 100, which is £2.87. So you pretty much cut your material costs in half just once the point you get to 100 transfer sheets ordered. And you've got sort of over 10 on here. So you're looking at sort of like, and it's 15. So you're looking at around sort of 20p per transfer at this point. So really, really cost effective. And if you factor that in with, say, £3 to £4 a t-shirt, but because this is premium level transfers that will last a lifetime of that t-shirt without fading or cracking, you can charge £25, £30 for this t-shirt because there's no different. The product that we are letting everyone have is the same product that lots of big brands are using to create those full color designs. The great thing is if you get really successful and you're like, actually, do you know what? I need 500. It comes down to £2 per transfer sheet. So just like that, there's lots of price breaks. So no matter where you are with your business, you've got easy access to small runs, but you've also got very easy access to large price breaks as well. So it's really, really easy to scale your business with transfers. And everything, no matter how many you order, if you order just like one sheet of Ultra Color Max versus 500 Ultra Color, the turnaround is still the same. It's still 2 days maximum, and we'll get them back to you. So if you've got a rush on, no matter what happens, we've got you covered. We're able to help you grow your business and get those last minute orders as well.
Perfect. Are we good on the easy view? Brilliant.
I think so. Let me just check if we've got any questions there. I think we're okay. Yeah.
Perfect, thank you. So before we fuse the screen print transfers, I just wanted to cover the different heat press options. So obviously if you're a beginner and you've never heat printed before and you're thinking of or planning on starting your own clothing business, then your equipment is essential. This is the bread and butter of your business. So regardless of what transfers you order, what garments you order, this is going to be the machine that applies everything. So you want to make sure you're getting the right one. Now, there are lots of different types available. Obviously, we are the UK home of Hotronics, which are the world's best heat presses. They are made by heat printers for heat printers. So you know that they're going to have all of the innovation that you need, including the digital readout, the Fusion IQ screen, the threadability, all of the things like that, that make it easier for you to apply garments, but also create them at that high quality that Andy has mentioned already. So this, as I said, is the Fusion IQ heat press from Hotronics. This is sort of the mid-range heat press, I would say. A lot of people either go for this one or the Hotronics Auto Open, which we used in the actual 2-part video series of this. Yep. So if you want to see that press in action, go and watch part 2 of it, I think it's in. Yeah, we fused the samples using this one, and then we used the Auto Open to fuse the main prints. So depending on what you're looking for, each press offers sort of different things. So it depends on your workspace, it depends on volume, and personal preference as well. It depends which press you prefer working with. Some people prefer the Auto Open because it automatically pops open. It's got a better workspace in terms of where it sits in your workshop. This Hotronics Fusion IQ obviously needs to sit on something, but it is already threadable without any other equipment. So it then has the swing and the draw motion for the heat-free workspace. So there's so many different things that you can choose. And the fantastic thing is that this technology exists, so you can pick and choose exactly what will work for you and your business. We have had quite a few people come to us and say, oh, we've seen this heat press online, we want this one. And our customer service team or Andy in the one-to-ones has actually gone, no, you don't need that one yet, because we don't want to just sell you a press for you to then not use it to its full potential. There's no point wasting money, especially heading into next year. There might be some financial challenges for a lot of businesses. So we want to make sure that you are getting the equipment that will really work for you and your business and that you will be able to pay off effectively. So this is, like I say, one of the mid-range heat presses. Quite a few people do tend to go for either this one or the Auto Open, as I said. But we do have a max clam available, which is around £1,000, I think, the max clam. And then we have the dual air fusion, which is the dual platined automatic air controlled heat press, which is around 6,000 or 7,000. So we've got a press for every single range. So if you want to talk more about the heat press options, you can either, like Andy said, phone us up, or there's tons of videos on our YouTube page. So definitely go and check those out and really research which press you want first, or just phone us up and have a chat. Like our customer service team would be more than happy to recommend which one they think will work for you.
For anyone that's never bought a heat press before, there's a few calculations you can drive this. Kind of the number one, because this is what press has: the lifetime warranty on the heating element. It also has the 5 years on the framework, and the framework is often how people tend to judge how long to work out their payoff with the heat press. I mean, this heat press will last you 10, 15, 20 years, but you get guaranteed 5 years on that framework. So you could tend to divide the cost of the machine by the sum of the warranties, and then that way you can work out what you're payoff is a year. Or if you really want to kind of like sprint to the finish for the payoff, average t-shirt price, you're kind of looking around about so 165 t-shirts to pay off this machine. So
which is 14 per month?
14 per month. So it is very quick and easy to get your heat presses paid off as well.
The auto open is even lower, so it's something like a 10 or 11 t-shirts. But when you think of it like that, there's really not that much difference in the auto open and the Fusion in terms of price, because it's an extra 2 to 3 t-shirts per month in a year, and it pays off the press. So it really is about which heat press is going to work for you and your business, not I've got this amount of money to spend, I want to spend it all on a press, or I'm going to go for the absolute cheapest option available. There's so many things to consider. So that's definitely something that we can help you with if you need us to. And all of the price breakdowns that Andy was talking about are on our website as well. So if you head to targettransfers.com and visit the heat press page, all of the individual products have their own price breakdown, so you can see how long it will take you to pay off each individual press. So moving on to screen prints. Our press has come up, it came up to temperature a while ago actually, it didn't take very long at all. But I'm now going to fuse a couple of our screen printed heat transfers just to give you a demonstration of that. So you can kind of see there's white ink on white paper, so that's kind of hard to see on there, but there's some neon pink on there as well. So the reason that I wanted to demonstrate these transfers were purely for the neon inks, which Andy is wearing very well in our new podcast hoodie. And these are free of charge to add to your order. So in the Easy View Designer, which you've already seen in this video, where you select the color palettes at the top, if you just type in either fluorescent or neon, you'll be presented with 5 or 6 different options for neon screen prints, and they're free of charge to add to your order. So another fantastic way to increase the value of your product.
These are all exclusive to Target Transfer. So these are where everything with the 1 to 5 color is Pantone matched. The fluorescent inks are something that we've actually specially mixed because there's always been such demand for fluorescent colors, but these are bespoke mixes and a bespoke system to make sure that they really have that pop. So like Molly said, you can see this pink really stands out even at a distance on the camera here. So if you want any of those fluorescent inks, like I said, just search for fluorescent, and you've got those free of charge, exclusive to you.
Perfect. So just giving this a pre-press. Then we're going to apply our screen print transfer. Now these are a cold peel, so release paper is needed for this one, which is exactly why we say it's better just to get into the habit of using it, because then you don't accidentally forget on a screen printed garment. So as I said previously, we're fusing these at 160 degrees for 10 seconds with a 5-second pre-press beforehand, medium pressure again, and then with this one I'm actually going to take it off of the heat press and let it cool down, because like I say, it's a cold peel. So I'm just going to set this aside and then fuse the next one, and then we'll peel them both hopefully at a similar time. Now this one has also got a neon screen print on here, and it's the yellow version. This is the fluo yellow. So we'll demonstrate both for you today. And I'm actually going to be putting this one onto a Just Hoods sweatshirt. So this is the same sweatshirt that we have for the vanilla ones over there, but we've just got it in a grey here. So we're just going to use this. Something to be aware of as well, just as a little tip when you're starting out, is to check the pressure. Another reason it's good to do a pre-press is to make sure your pressure is accurate, because obviously this garment is slightly thicker than the t-shirt, so it might mean that it needs an ever so slight adjustment from the t-shirt. Not always, but sometimes.
Yeah, one of the things that Hottronics prides itself on is having the most accurate pressure. And we're actually the first people to ever put over-centered pressure in it, which is the most accurate way to have pressure on it. By going through the middle and not at the back first, it means everything goes down with even pressure throughout the garment. And so that means that because our pressure readout is so accurate, even like literally a piece of paper is enough to kind of take it to the next level of pressure because it's so sensitive. But it means it's even more accurate, and you can control everything perfectly that way.
So this one went from a 4 to 5 to a 5 to 6. So anything between a 4 and a 6 is fine for Hotronics machines. But it's when it starts to go under or over that you want to be careful, because you could either scorch your garment or the transfer won't apply properly. So there's a few reasons. So again, with this one, I'm just going to set this aside and let this one cool down as well.
So anyone that's new to this, everything with garment decorating of any kind actually, but especially heat printing, it's all recipe based. So everything we do it's a science essentially. So on the back of the transfer, you can feel the powder, but it's all designed to unlock at a very specific time, temperature, and pressure. That's why we always give the recipe whenever you order from us. But it's really important you follow those recipes and don't try and cheat them, because that's when you start to make mistakes. And that's why we always recommend going for a really accurate heat press, because you just can't control it. Otherwise, if you're just buying a sort of cheap import press, they tend to be sort of 5 to 10 or even 20 degrees. I've seen out from a temperature readout. So it means that's why you might be getting transfers that don't stay on after like more than 2 or 3 washes, or just doesn't go down in the first place. So always get an accurate heat press that you can measure to the degree and follow those recipes. And then you'll have perfect application from your very first press that you do with your new clothing brand.
Okay, this one is cold. So I'm going to peel the first one. It's not always recommended to put it back onto the heat press, but so here we go. So we've got our neon fluoro that matches, what kind of matches the one I'm wearing, but this was an ultra color and this is screen, so it's neon. And I think that looks absolutely fantastic. There we go. That took 10 seconds, a really soft finish there, all the detail. And it was that easy.
That's it. So it means from day one, you can have fluorescent prints on your garments that way.
Exactly. I think I might wear this in the next podcast. I like this one. Right, let's see how our sweatshirt is doing.
So that was 160 degrees for 10 seconds, medium pressure. So that's we always say between a 4 and 6 on a Hotronics press.
Here we go. And we have our second one as well. Done and dusted. I love the way that the yellow and the grey work on here. This isn't actually one that I planned to make, but I fused it the other day and I thought I really like that effect. So I've made one for you and then this one's for me. So we have one each.
I think that's the great thing as well. I mean, Molly's kind of walked you through, and she's got a really great series about how to start a clothing brand in terms of the approach you take, the thought process you're going through. And we kind of talked you through about sort of 5 minutes ago about just how easy it is to get the scalable price breakdowns. But just like that, I mean, we're kind of like taking our time to explain to you how to go through the process. But we've already fused 4 things today, and you could probably make sort of 10 to 15 pounds profit on all of these. So even just in the kind of half an hour that we've been going through this, you could have made sort of 40 to 60 pounds profit on some clothing just by having a blank sweater or t-shirt and a transfer. Just like that, you can get started and get those profit margins kicking in from the very beginning.
Exactly. So that's everything I wanted to cover today. As I say, we've got our finished products here now. If you have any further questions on anything to do with heat printing or starting a clothing business, then don't hesitate to get in touch with us here at Target. We'd be more than happy to help you. And as I said at the beginning, don't forget to go onto our YouTube channel and watch part 1 and part 2 of the How to Start a Clothing Collection video series. As Andy said, there's some behind the scenes in there. It's a much more in-depth look at what we did at the time. It's almost like a vlog style video, so it's not as much us presenting to you, it's just you looking over our shoulder as we're doing it. So it's real time, very realistic way of doing it. I think that's everything.
I was just going to say thank you for everyone who's been watching us this year. This is probably
our last live
about
of the
the
year.
20th or 30th live we've done this year. So we go live every Friday, and we'll be doing so again, but once we get back in the new year as well. So thank you for everyone that's watched along with us. We really appreciate it, and we hope we've been able to help some of you with your businesses in 2022.
Yeah, and we will see you in January for more live videos, but we've got plenty of content coming out on our socials and YouTube over the Christmas break.
Yeah.
So once you've had all your festive celebrations and you're looking for a few things to watch for entertainment, head on over there and check those out. But yeah, thanks for watching, and we'll see you all next year.
Yeah, see you next year.